Assalamualaikum and a very good morning. So, I'm going to explain about past continuous tense, positive statement, or if you refer to your textbook page 32, you may also see the box, alright, it says affirmative. So, positive statement, affirmative is the same. So, you need to know in past continuous tense, the action was ongoing until a certain time in the past. Okay, that's point number one. Alright, and also these tenses is used to talk about an action at a particular time in the past. Okay, past continuous tense berlaku pada certain masa, dan masa ini adalah pada masa lalu. Alright, so this is past continuous tense. And you also need to know, for making positive statement or affirmative in past continuous tense, okay, you need to know that how we are going to use it. There are two. One, was, and the second one, were. Okay, was for the subject, I, he, and also she. Whereas for were, for the subject, you, we, and they. And also you need to bear in mind verb, you must add ing for all of the subjects. Maksudnya, untuk membuat ayat menggunakan past continuous tense, ada dua benda yang kamu perlu tahu. Satu, penggunaan was, dan satu lagi penggunaan were. Alright, so was ini adalah untuk subjek I, he, and she. Were pula untuk penggunaan bagi subjek you, we, and they. Dan kamu juga diingatkan untuk tambah ing bagi setiap kata kerja. Contoh ayat adalah I was sleeping at 11 p.m. last night. Okay, the use of was. Another example is she was sleeping at 11 p.m. last night. The third example, you were sleeping at 11 p.m. last night. And another last one example, they were sleeping at 11 p.m. last night. Okay, now let's move to negative statement. When it comes to negative statement, so you wanted to say a negative statement. So how are you going to write for past continuous tense for negative statement? From making negative statement in the past continuous tense, if you realize, we are going to use the words was not or wasn't, and also were not or weren't. Was not is for the subject I, he, and she, whereas were not is for the subjects you, we, and they. The same thing apply. You need to add ing for all the verbs. For example, they were not listening to music at 4 p.m. yesterday. Or for another example, she was not listening to music at 4 p.m. yesterday. Now, let's move for interrogative statements or questions. Okay, for this part, we use was for the subject I, he, and she, whereas were for the subject you, we, and they. And don't forget, you need to bear in mind all the verb must add ing. As for example, was she listening to music at 4 p.m. yesterday? Or the second example, it would turn out to be like this. Were they listening to music at 4 p.m. yesterday? Do you realize that was and were are used with different subject? And if you realize the verb used must add ing.